What's up guys, Jake B5 here. So behind me, I have everything that you need to manual swap your B5 S4. So of course, every car is different and this might not be every single thing that you need. And I'm gonna have about a 10-part series of how to manual swap this car. And of course, take it all with a grain of salt and do your research and use my video kind of as a guide, not a exact step-by-step, but just use it as a suggestion. Of course, do your research, make sure you know what you're doing, but it's honestly, I don't think it's gonna be that bad. So let's get into it. All right, so what you see before you is pretty much everything that you need for a manual swap. So on the left right here, we have all of the necessary parts. And so everything that you actually need to manual swap. And that's pretty much, if you just want to do a manual swap, nothing else, that's what you would need. And then in the middle right here, we have all of the performance parts. So those are completely optional. It's just stuff that while the engine's out, I want to do some stuff and some improvements and stuff like that. So that's that. And then over here to the right, that's going to be all of my maintenance stuff. So I'm gonna do a timing belt job, rear main seal, valve cover gaskets, and stuff like that. So that is all on the right. So that is optional as well, but I would recommend it, especially if you're having the engine out. Might as well do it, especially the rear main seal, because that would, if you have to pull your engine again to do the rear main after you're done this, because that would suck. So let's get right into it. So first we'll cover what you actually have to get, and then we'll go performance, and then lastly maintenance. All right, so starting off, first thing is going to be obviously the transmission. So this is the 01E transmission. This one I was lucky enough to pick up with only 90,000 miles on it, so the shift collars are still in good condition. I'd recommend either picking up one low mileage or rebuilt, just so you don't have to deal with it later. And then this also has the slave cylinder already installed, so you would have to get that if you don't have it installed. Then you got the mounting brackets. You have the front axles, so you need to have two of them, but I only have one right now because this is the one that I pulled. Pretty much all of this drivetrain parts are from my old car, the V8 swapped A4. So that's where I got most of them, because I did a 6-speed swap on it. So I accidentally destroyed the other axle when I was removing the engine. So I'm gonna be buying one. I just haven't bought it yet since AutoZone has it. And I've had good luck with AutoZone axles. I'm pretty sure this is an AutoZone axle. So you need two of these. You need the pedal assembly. So here I have Sparco pedals on it, just because. And then you're also gonna need the master cylinder, which is right here, which if you get a whole pedal set, then that would be fine. Then you're gonna need your shifter. So your shift box, and then your shifter linkage as well, with the shift boot, shift trim for the manual, since it is different, and a shift knob. This one is a stock one. I'm not gonna be using this, and I'll show you the other one that I will be using a little bit later. And then you're going to need the manual drive shaft, or also I've seen the Tiptronic drive shaft work, but you do need a little adapter because the manual drive shaft is longer. Then you're going to need a clutch line, and then pretty much the last thing, or the last two things, is going to be the rear diff, since the rear diff is different gearing than the automatic, but you don't need rear axles because the rear axles are the same. And then you're gonna need a clutch. So that's pretty much it. The only thing that I don't have pictured here is a 6-speed wiring harness. I'm gonna try my best to not use it, and I don't believe I really need it, because you just need a couple connectors to wire like the reverse light and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to not use it, but if it really comes to it, I can pick one up. So for the clutch, this is JHM's Stage 1 B7 RS4 kit. So it comes with a chrome moly forged lightweight flywheel, a B7 RS4 pressure plate, and a clutch disc for it, as well as a throwout bearing. So I'm gonna do an independent video on this and review, but I'm really excited to see how this performs. JHM makes amazing products, so I'm really excited to see how it goes. And this, like I said, is from a B7 RS4, so it has more clamping force than a B5 RS4. Now this kit is a little bit on the more expensive side. It's not that bad. It's $950 for these three things right here. And you could go cheaper on the clutch. I'm just doing this because I want a lightweight flywheel. I want to see how it goes. And I've heard the B5 RS4 ones do slip under power, under like heavy power. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. And also, all of these parts, I'm gonna make an Excel spreadsheet and put it in the description so you can see all of the parts, what you need, how much they cost. For the drivetrain right here, you're looking at about $1250, not including the clutch. The clutch $950, but that's pretty much all you need. And then the other thing is, for the swap, we are going to be removing the engine. So you can't really remove the Tiptronic transmission easily while it's in the car. So you can't easily remove the transmission while it's in the car, so you have to pull the engine, which isn't a massive deal. But because of that, you are going to need some fluids. So since we're pulling the engine, you're going to need some coolant and power steering. Those are gonna be the main things if you're just pulling it the traditional way. I'm going to be dropping the subframe with the engine on it because I have a lift, and that would really be the easiest option. So I will be disconnecting the brake lines, so I'm gonna need some new brake fluid. And then if you're doing a timing belt job like I am, you're going to need some oil. So usually you would change your oil while you're doing this. I literally changed my oil not even 500 miles ago. So I'm just gonna reuse that oil and it shouldn't be a big deal. So you're gonna need 7 quarts of oil, 6 quarts of coolant, a liter of power steering fluid, and I believe 2 liters of brake fluid for everything. So now on to performance stuff, the fun stuff. So for performance stuff, all of this stuff is optional, but I'm personally going to do this. So first things first, you got a manual steering wheel. This isn't really performance, but it is optional. So this is the manual steering wheel without the buttons. I just think it looks so much better, especially with this inner design. So I'm gonna put that on. And as well, since I'm draining my brakes, I'm gonna try out this D2S8 big brake kit. So this is a Stasis big brake kit that's literally 15 years old. I've got it off a parts car. So if you guys wanted to do a big brake kit as well, I'd recommend going like a Brembo 18Z or 17Z setup from a Porsche or a Touareg. So this is not a popular setup at all. I've found only one person running it. So I'm probably gonna run these until the rotors die and then probably go with an 18Z setup, since these rotors they're pretty much, I think, yeah, they're $900 to $1,000 just for the rotors. So at that price, I can literally get a full 18Z setup, no problem. So I'm gonna run those for a little bit. I got stock pads for that, and I think it's gonna look awesome. I still have to I repainted these, which you should powder coat them, but I decided not to. I'm gonna put some cool Brembo stickers on it and paint my rear calipers yellow as well, because I think that will look really good. So the next thing is downpipes. So I have the SSAC, as you know, SSAC exhaust on right now, and these are the downpipes for it. So these are full catless downpipes. I think they're gonna sound fantastic, spit some sick flames. And the reason why I'm doing this is, while you have the engine out, it's the easiest way to take the downpipes off. I'm not sure of an easy way to take the downpipes off in general. I haven't found any forms to do it with the Tiptronic in the car. So while it's out, I'm gonna slap these babies on. And talking about the downpipes, I have this, which this is, I believe, DFI Engineering or DFI, something like that. heat wrap. So this is just gold reflective heat wrap that I'm going to wrap this. And I'll make sure to say how much you actually need so you don't buy too much, because I couldn't find anyone saying actually how much you need. Those are 2.5 or 2-inch by 30 feet rolls, or 2-inch by 15 feet. Anyways, I'll see exactly how much I need, and I'll let you guys know so you don't overpay. I found those, they're usually like $50 a roll. I got them for $15 a roll because it was on sale on Amazon. So yeah, next thing is going to be this AWE tuning drivetrain stabilizer. So this hooks up to the bottom of the transmission and it just overall tightens things up. I had one laying around and it came on my old car, so I'm like, might as well put it on. Another optional thing is this. So depending on what pedals you go with, this is a pedal from a manual, and the main difference, you can run an automatic pedal, no problem. I did in the V8 swap, but it has the button at the bottom to downshift for the automatic. So it's just a little bit annoying. It makes zero difference. It's just kind of personal preference. So I had one of these laying around, so I'm gonna put that on. Next thing is going to be this shift knob right here. So this is a Euro Impulse weighted shift knob. So it is engraved with the H pattern, the S4, and I think it's gonna look fantastic. Basically how it works is, I'll do an independent review on this, is this slips where the boot goes, and then it slips right on, and then you thread it on so you have no boot gap. So this looks really amazing, and I'm really excited to see how the car drives with this. So next thing up is going to be the secondary air injection or secondary air intake block off plates. These are from the V8. They fit the 2.7 as well. So these will block off so I can do a full SAI delete. So if you want to get rid of it, get some engine bay space, I would definitely recommend doing this. These are like $40 for the block off plates. Not too bad. And you can, if you are good at machining, you can make them yourself because it's literally just 2 bolts. So I got these. And then I also have some new spark plugs. These are BK7REs, which are insanely popular spark plugs for these cars. They're a step colder, so it will run a little bit better on tuned engines, and they're on FCP Euro, they're $2 a piece. So it was literally $12 for 6 of them. So I'm like, why not? So next thing up is going to be a tune. So I have a German Elite Tuning Stage 2 tune that I just flashed earlier this week, and I just flashed onto his ECU. He does remote tuning. This was $250, and the pops and bangs that I got just from revving it were freaking amazing. They sounded so good. I'm super excited to see how this drives, and especially how the 2-step works and no lift shift and stuff like that. So this is completely optional, but you get more power, especially with the downpipes, and you'll get some fun stuff. And then most important thing is some stickers, because we all know stickers add 1,000 horsepower. So I got 2 ECS ones and a JHM or a JH Motorsports one, which I'm gonna slap on, and they'll look pretty nice. So last thing performance-wise is this upgraded rear diff mount. This is the Apocal rear diff mount. I don't know how much a difference it makes. I haven't actually driven a car without it, but hey, more upgraded mounts, never a bad thing. So let's get into the most boring part, maintenance. So for maintenance stuff, I'm not doing anything crazy. So up here we have 5 quarts, I believe there are. Yep, 5 quarts of 75W90 gear oil. So this is for both the transmission and the rear diff. I'm gonna do a flush because I didn't when I did the manual swap, and that should be probably 20-year-old fluid. So gonna do this just because. Got a new cabin air filter just because. So also got a new coolant reservoir just because mine's pretty yellowed, and this one looks nice. nice and new. And then, so for timing belt jobs, I got timing belt kit with the rollers and tensioner, got a water pump, and as well as a serpentine belt and thermostat. So if you're going to be doing the timing belts, you need to get one of these cam locking bars. So these are going to be, so that locks the cams together and lets you actually time the engine properly, as well as this little tool which locks the crankshaft. So ECS sells them for like $300 for that kit. The one that I bought was $20 on eBay. So I'm gonna see how it goes. I mean, it's nothing super complicated. Hopefully I don't run into any issues. As well as I'm replacing all of the drive shaft bolts, and this is a new axle bolt for the axle I took out of my car. So I'm also doing the rear main seal because why not? I'm in there. And this one's actually really nice. It's this whole rear assembly instead of just the seal, which is a lot easier than trying to just replace the seal. So this is a little bit more expensive. This was, I believe, $80 when just the seal is either like 15 or 20. But for saving like an hour of hassle, I think that's definitely worth it. Also, you're gonna need a pilot bearing for your flywheel if you don't have one. I bought this before I realized that the JHM kit does actually come with one. So last thing is going to be valve cover gaskets. I'm not going to do the cam tensioner gasket and the half moon seal because they were resealed a little while ago on my car. So it shouldn't be a huge issue. I know my valve cover gaskets are leaking right now and it's 30 bucks to replace them, so it's not bad. But that's pretty much it for maintenance. Of course, you can do a million other things. So, I mean, you can upgrade your turbos, you can get replacement turbos, you can replace every single seal on the engine. I opted to not do that, A, because I don't have enough money for turbos, and B, it's just gonna add a lot more time, especially doing individual seals and stuff like that, like camshaft seals. And if I'm not taking the cams out to do the half moon seals and stuff like that, then it's not worth it to replace the cam seals and stuff like that. So that about wraps it up for everything that you need. So again, take this all with a grain of salt. Make sure that you are actually doing some research, seeing what you need and what you need to do for your car, because every car is different with different mods and stuff like that. There's so much more that I could go and upgrade and stuff like that while I'm in there, but I just don't have those funds right now, especially with all the coronavirus stuff going on. But should be a fun swap, so stay tuned for a bunch of videos. I'm gonna be trying to push this out in less than a week, so it's gonna be kind of rapid fire for those videos, which is good. So hopefully this video helped some of you guys. If you enjoyed it, please like. If you have any comments or questions, comment down below. And to see more, subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified for my future videos. So yeah, so that's about it. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.